you know, really kind of what's going on. The information won't be as meaningful as it could be. So do your assessment if you haven't already. And if you have done it, great. If you were here last month, awesome. Just pull it out and have your results. And we're going to go through this workshop together here, and we'll see how far we get, because I do have quite a bit of information to cover. I know Apostle Donnell likes when I say that, because then he says, okay, good, that means we'll do another one. But we'll see how well we do with this information that we have in front of us here. Okay, so lead with communication, part 2. Last month, briefly, we said that you got to have the right mindset when it comes to communication. Leading with communication, there's a particular mindset you have to have, and good communication is less about sounding impressive, and it's more about helping people really understand and trust and contribute and act effectively based on the messaging that you're giving away. So, you know, there's a lot of people that's, you know, pride themselves on speaking well and really sounding very intellectual, and that's wonderful. However, connecting is what you really need to focus on, connecting so that people can respond to what you have shared. So leading with communication and that mindset, it's, if you were to define it even more so, and we talked about this last month, it's leading with good communication, which is creating clarity, trust, and alignment through the way you speak. So we talked about that, the way you listen or hear what people are saying, and then interact with others. And this also deals with your verbal and nonverbal cues and your body language, and all of those are definitely a part of the communication package. We're not going to talk about that today, but this is just a little bit about what we talked about last month. And we had this question out there. We asked, what does leadership begin with? And leadership begins with connection. Connection. To connect with others, you must be able to clearly communicate. That's what communication is. It's your ability to help others understand what you're saying so that they can respond appropriately, with the understanding of the intended message, not, you know, messages that are miscommunicated and people they respond inappropriately, communication breaks down, relationships break down, and there's that lack of connection. And so it's all about how effective you are with connecting with people. So as a leader, the goal is not to change who you are. Now, I want you to hear me clearly, because what we're talking about today is communication styles, and the goal is not to try to change who you are, the way you are and the way God made you, and all of your personality, your approach to life, your style, the things you love, the things you don't like, the quirky things about you, all that God put in there, and it's awesome. So we're not trying to change who you are. The goal is for us to become flexible enough to communicate effectively with other people who are different, from you, who are different from me. Okay, so it's all about flexibility, being able to adapt for that moment. The most effective communicators are not those who speak the best. It's the ones who connect the best. Those are the most effective communicators. And so at the end of the day, you and I need to always seek to connect with people. And that requires us to be a little bit flexible. So today is communication styles 2.0, because we would have talked about just the basics last week. I keep saying last month. So 2.0, we're going a little bit deeper. All right, so we introduced the 4 communication styles last month, and those styles are direct, expressive, supportive, and analytical. And that's where we left off. So we're going to go a little bit deeper today into each of these 4 styles. But before we do that, I want to let you in on a little bit of activity we're going to need to do here in just a second. And this is where we're going to do introductions. And we're going to take a second and have each one of you just say your name and tell us the 2 highest scores that you got when you took the assessment. The options are A, B, C, and D. And so in your A, B, C, and D, I want you to tell us what 2 were the highest for you. If it was, if it was D and it was C, okay, awesome. Or if it was A and it was D, okay, awesome. So we want you to introduce yourself and just tell us what your 2 highest scores were. And I'm gonna, let's see here. All right, good. I'm just gonna take volunteers. There we go. So just raise your emoji hand and we'll call on you and you'll tell us what your 2 scores were. And if you were here last month, for the sake of those who weren't here, you can also reiterate what your scores were. Okay, Elder Danley, God bless you. I see your hand.
Hi, good evening, apostles. Good evening, all online. I wasn't here on the last occasion. However, my 2 highest scores is B 14 and C 8.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you, Elder Danley. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see. I see Sister Joy Jones. What were your 2 highest scores?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead, loud and clear.
Great. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Apostle
Good
Angel,
afternoon.
Apostle Daniel. And my name is Joy Jones. And my 2 highest score is one is A, and the other 2, C and D, it was the same, like 9. The both of them were 9, C and D.
Gotcha. And what was your A number?
10.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, great. So A, 10, and C and D, you tied for 9.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Joy Jones.
You're
Blessings
welcome.
to you. I'm
You
so glad
too.
you're here. Hey, Elder Liz, God bless you.
Good evening, apostles and everyone.
Good
My
evening.
highest numbers were C12 and D9.
D9.
I'm meeting I'll call you back.
Thank you so much, Elder Liz. So good to have you. God bless you. All right, let's see. I'm just calling as I see your hand. Okay, I see Dr. Millicent and then Dr. Cox. Okay, Dr. Millicent.
Even Apostle Angel, good evening, Apostle Daniel, and rest of the Body Church family.
Evening,
my highest scores were D 15, followed by A7.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much. D15 and A7. Good to have you, Dr. Millicent. All right. Dr. Cox, God bless you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Virginia here. So my high scores were C 14 and D8.
Excellent. Love it. Thank you so much. Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, Auntie Verna. Okay. And see Sister Cheryl Sinclair, and then after her, Brother Jabari.
Good evening, Apostle. Good evening, everyone. I am Sister Cheryl Sinclair. My highest scores were C12 and D11.
D11. Okay. Thank you so much, Sister Cheryl. Glad to have you also. Welcome.
Thank you.
Brother Jabari, and then Sister Keisha.
Good evening, apostles and everyone.
Good evening.
My Jabari here, my 2 scores A was 12 and C was 8.
Excellent. Gotcha. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Glad to have you. And Sister Keisha, God bless you.
God bless you too, Apostle Angel. Good evening to everyone. My top scores are A and B, 12 each.
Okay, A and B, 12 each. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you so much, Sister Keisha. All righty. So good you're here. Good to have you as well. Glad you're here. Okay, so those are all the hands that were raised. I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, Apostle Donnell.
Yeah, so my scores were very close between 1 and 4. So statistically, 1 and 4 were the same.
Okay, so that's A
And D.
and 4. Okay, D. What were the numbers again?
I believe it was 11 and 9. I had two questions
Okay.
that could have gone
I
either
think I
way.
remember that.
And if I
Okay,
did it
remember
one
that from
time,
last.
it would be 10-10. If I did it another way, it would be 11-9. So I would say statistically
Gotcha. I remember
identical.
that from last month. Okay, got you covered. Got you down. All right, excellent. All right. I don't want to miss anyone else who did the assessment and would like to share their results. But if you're out there and you didn't raise your hand yet, please do so now so I can call on you. Otherwise, we'll keep going.
Hi, Apostle. I did my assessment in the first class.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to find my notes from the last class, but I will insert it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But I think most of my scores were between A and D. I can't remember the proportion, but I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you for confirming. Not a problem. All right, good to go. All right, so we're going to keep going forward. All right, so now that you have your scores, keep your scores. Oh, so someone else's hand is up. Let me look.
Yeah,
here. Okay, Sister Sabi.
Good evening, everyone. You all hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear. Good evening.
Hi, so I'm Asabi, and my highest score was D, 13, and C, 8.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sister Sabi. Glad that you are here. All right, so we have a nice mix of communication styles. And so for the remainder of this time together, we're going to spend time helping you understand what your style is, and then also how your style interacts with other styles for the sake of connecting. Everybody say connecting. Put it in the chat. Connecting. That is the whole goal. You're connecting. So that's what we're going to learn today. How do you connect? If anyone were to be honest, and you don't have to say this out loud or anything, but think to yourself, have you ever had a chance to communicate with someone and it just broke down? It just didn't work. Can anyone be honest and say, yes, that has happened. They don't get me. I don't get them. We try. It just doesn't work. I don't know what to do. I give up, whatever. And that's all because you're not connecting. So today's goal is for you to leave here with tools that you can use as early as, I usually say early as tomorrow, but I'm going to say as early as tonight, like whoever you're talking to at home and in your workplace or school or whoever you interact with on WhatsApp. You're going to get some tools tonight. I believe they're going to help you that quickly. Okay, so back to where we left off, and then now we're entering into for this session. There are 4 communication styles. The first is direct communicator. The second is an expressive communicator. The third is supportive communicator, and the fourth is analytical. Now, there's no particular order. One is not better than the other. And when we talk more about your style, you are not, I repeat, not only the 1 or 2 that you rank the highest in. The truth is, you actually have all of these communication styles that you can express at different times that come forward, but there are 2 that are most dominant in your life and in my life, and that's just how God made us. And so we're going to talk about those 2 that are the most dominant, and if you can understand those, I believe it's going to help you with the way you communicate with other people, because you will say, okay, they're going to read me this way because this is just how I am. And it's also going to help you identify what their style is as well, for the sake of Connecting. Someone say connecting. Put it in the chat. Connecting. All right, so let's get to it. So there's 4: direct, expressive, and supportive. Let's talk about each one a little bit here. First, the direct communicator. Direct communicator is one who says exactly what they mean in a clear, straightforward way. They value clarity and they value action. There are many people like this in our lives, and you can identify them. They just say it like it is. And, you know, they're real blunt, and also they're very clear on what they mean. They don't really mince words. They don't waste time with words. They'll say something to this effect: I need the final spreadsheet by Thursday at 5 p.m. Please send it by then. No questions asked, straight instructions, very clear and precise when they want it, when they need it, and just send it to them. They don't want it before 5 o'clock. They don't want it after 5 o'clock for sure. They don't want it on Friday. They want it on Thursday. They want it at 5. They want the final version. They don't care. They don't want to know what it took for you to get it to the final version. They just need to get to the final version. And it just needs to be sent to them by then. All right, so that's one. There's also your expressive communicator. The expressive communicator is a communicator who is energetic. They're very enthusiastic and they're emotionally engaged. Like they really connect, you know, in an intentional way with those that they're trying to communicate with. They're very focused on the ideas. They're very focused on relationships, and they're very focused on inspiring others. They speak very big. They speak animated. Some people can't stand these people because it seems like they never have a bad day. But they say things like this when they're communicating. Picture it. This initiative is going to change the world as we know it. And you're like, okay, it's just a discount at the local supermarket. Yes, but it's going to change the world. These are very expressive communicators. And you may be one of them. And then there's supportive communicators. Those are the ones that we know who prioritize harmony. They really prioritize the relationship. They really like in their communication, they like to use words that scream cooperation. They're very empathetic. They're patient. And they want to be sure that everybody on the team feels valued and is heard. They just really like things to be even and even keel. So they will use language like that. Even the way they talk, the way they speak, it's not a pushy kind of language. They're not, you know, trying to put themselves forward. They don't want anyone to be left out. So in the same scenario, they will say, well, let's make sure everyone is in agreement and feels good about this decision. Like what decision? About the decision that the spreadsheet needs to be there by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Well, let's make sure everybody is in agreement and feels good about that. Very supportive communicators. I feel like some of you are probably starting to identify people in your lives who communicate in these ways. And we're going to go deeper. Then there's the analytical communicator. It's the communicator who values logic. They value accuracy, facts, and they like the detail. They want detailed information before and whenever they're going to be making a decision, especially if you ask them to make a decision. They're going to make it, but they're going to make sure that they have dotted their I's, crossed their T's. There isn't any outlayers of information out there that they haven't gotten, and then they'll make their decision. It's kind of like a process of elimination, and then they make their decision. So they would say, in response to I need the spreadsheet by 5 p.m. on Thursday, they'll say, well, I need time to check the spreadsheet and review all the data concerning this report before we move forward. So you can hear this in their voice. The language they use screams to you what kind of communicator they are. Okay, great. So we're actually going to do an activity right quick. How about that? You have to know that I like to make sure that we are getting the information. Okay, so here we go. Activity time. if you don't have already in front of you, just get a piece of paper and a pen. I hope you are taking notes. So just, even on the back of your assessment, pull out a piece of paper and a pen. And here's what I want you to do. And I don't want you to overthink this activity. You're going to do this activity without overthinking it, meaning don't try to like massage it and make it perfect. And don't try to make it, fit into a particular mold. Like, I want you just to be honest. And here it is. I want you to rewrite this message just as you are. This is the message. It says the project deadline has been moved up by 2 weeks. I want you to rewrite that. The project deadline has been moved up by 2 weeks. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds to rewrite that message. Ready? Go ahead. Thirty more seconds. Fifteen seconds. Four, three, two, one. All right, pencils down. Very good. Okay, now we are going to allow you to put in the chat what you wrote. Just put it in the chat. And in parallel to that, I'm going to have a couple people just share. So I'm going to call on some people. How about that? Yes, because, hey, it's a workshop. All right, so let me call on Dr. Millicent. How did you rewrite that if you got it done? How did you rewrite that?
The project deadline has it moved up to July 10th by 4 p.m.
Awesome. Project deadline has been moved up to July 10th, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Hold on to that. Put as I say, put a pin in that. Hey, and type it in the chat too. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, let me call on somebody else here. Let's see. Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, how did you rewrite that sentence?
I simply put this project is due in the next 3 days.
Next 3 days. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I am thinking from the day we got the information as to Thursday what time. If it's moved up, yeah. So that's my, yeah.
Okay, got it. So you said it's basically moved up by up to 3 days. Right? Okay, put it in the chat. Awesome. Okay, let's see. I'll call on one more person. Brother Jabari, what'd you do? Or what did you write if you had a chance?
Apostle. So I wrote, Team, kindly note the new project deadline has been moved up to 2 weeks. Feel free to reach out if needed.
Nice. Okay, got it. All right, let's see here. I'll take one more. Let's call on Elder Danley.
Yeah, I think my son was listening to me. Team,
Hey.
the project deadline is now 2 weeks earlier, so let's get going.
I like it. I like that extra part there. So let's get going. All right. That should be I'm just gonna listen. We're learning, right? You gotta listen to the language. He put on the end. So let's get going. All right, just keep that in mind. Okay, good. So, all right, well, good. Let's remember, put it in the chat, and then I'm gonna go through now and give you some examples. All right, so right on the screen, you can see right here, as we would have been talking about 4 different communication styles. You have the analytical style, we have the supportive style, we have the expressive style, we have the direct style. All right, so let's look at them one at a time and just see kind of an idea of how they would have rewritten this. So like, let's say if a direct communicator would have written something to this effect. The deadline has been moved to July 8th. We need a revised action plan by tomorrow. Case closed. So you'll notice here the direct communicator, they're very intentional. The deadline's been moved up 2 weeks. Well, now they have gotten right down to it. It's July 8th, people. And we're going to have to revise our plan to get it to me by tomorrow. We need an action plan tomorrow. Action, action, action. Deadline, and they don't have any qualms. They don't have any questions about it. They just say, look, it's been moved up. Here's the date. Give it to me. Get a plan. Make it happen. Direct communication style. All right, how about the expressive communication style? Okay, they would have written it like this. This is an opportunity to show that our team can accomplish what our team can accomplish. This person, they took the information and, you know, it could be a problem, you know, for people to, hey, we've moved up the deadline. It's sooner, you know, it's moved up. But instead they take it and they put a spin on it so that it keeps the excitement and the enthusiasm of the team. Note that Elder Danley, when he mentioned the deadline change, he put on the "and." So let's get going. This is an opportunity. Let's show our team can accomplish this. Yay! Confetti, confetti. The crowd goes wild. Expressive communicator. You just have to listen. How about this one? Supportive style. They would say something to the effect of, I know this change may be challenging, but let's work together to adjust our plan. Supportive style of communication. They're empathetic. They're going to acknowledge the fact that there are going to be some people that aren't going to be able to handle this, and it's understood, noted. We acknowledge that, but hey, we're going to work together. We're going to adjust the plan. Remember, they like harmony, they like peace. So if any of your language included this kind of tone in there anywhere, you may have either a primary or a secondary supportive communication style as a strength for you, as a go-to for you. And this is great because we're trying to connect with people, and supportive styles, they love to connect. They like harmony. All right. And then finally, we have the analytical style. The analytical style, they would say something to the effect of, based on the revised timeline, here are the milestones required to meet the new deadline. So they're not even talking too much about anything else other than, all right, we have a timeline. Here is what needs to get done. I've mapped it out. It's going to take this long to do this part of it and this long to do that part of it. In order for us to meet the deadline, we're going to have to chop, along and do it this way. So if your written response was anywhere along these lines of, kind of taking it in bite-sized pieces and, you had like things that are measurable, you may be someone who either as your primary or secondary, lean on the analytical style. Okay. And so it's all about with them, it's accuracy, it's data, it's time. And you need them to be who they are, because these are the ones that keep things on track and get it done right. Not just get it done, they make sure it's right. And I always tell people, people who have an analytical communication style, or even approach to the way they make decisions and even their personality, those are the people in your companies and in your workplaces that keep you out of court, because they will check the protocol. They'll make sure that we met or we didn't meet it. You know, how close did we meet it? Did we go over the line? Did we under the line? What's the, you know, variant of that? Did we how far over did we go, or how far under are we? Like, they're really accurate people, and you need these people in every aspect of your life. Okay, so if any of your responses lean toward one where it's new measurements, it's more you know, we're focused on the deadline, but we want to hit these markers, you may be someone who communicates from an analytical lens. Now, in a perfect world though, in a perfect world, it's so much better for us if we only communicate with people who communicate like us. The analytical people only communicate with analytical people. The supportive people only support one another and communicate that way. The expressive people, they just keep having parties all the time with every aspect of life. It's just a joy all the time, fun, and exciting. Or you're a direct person, you get along well with people who are just direct. Hey, we have no problems, no one's offended, we're efficient, we don't waste time. That's a perfect world. But that's not how the world is. But if you, as a direct communicator, only communicated with direct people, you know, the strengths would be amazing. You guys would only make quick decisions. Your communication would be so efficient. Your conversations would be so straightforward. There wouldn't be any wasteful words. You know, there's no fluff. You're just, boom, what do you need? Boom, I need that. Okay, great. Boom, keep it moving. Clear expectations and outcomes. Those are the strengths. Very efficient when you're communicating with someone just like you, who's a direct communicator. Now, the conflict, though, comes from the perspective of, you know, you're too much alike. So it's almost hard to, you know, kind of get along all the time, because it's like, well, who's in charge? There's this power struggle when you're dealing with someone who's just like you. There's also the possibility of competition. There's this competitive behavior. You're always one-upping the other, and it's kind of an informal thing, but it's happening. And you may have worked with people like this who are just like you. There's a lack of empathy. Because you don't waste words, you don't waste time, everything is very objective for you. It's fine because you are talking to a direct communicator. They also don't care either. So it's fine, but there's no empathy, and it's okay because it's all about the work and that's all we're here to do. Fine. Empathy may not be needed. And then here are some strategies though that can help you if you are working with someone, or you're married to someone that's also a direct communicator, or you work in a workplace where there's other direct communicators, or even ministry direct communicators. I mean, this applies across the board. Here's some strategies to help you when you're dealing with someone like this that's just like you and you're a direct communicator. Focus on the outcome. Focus on, okay, what are we here to do? Also, fight the urge to win. To win, meaning to one up the person, to demonstrate that you're better, they're better, I'm better, who's in charge. Like, you have to actually fight that urge, because you're naturally like that. You're a direct communicator. You accomplish things, you get stuff done. And then finally, listen before you respond. Listen before you respond. So it's basically slowing things down. Direct communicators make fast decisions. They're over here. They don't need all the data. They go off of their gut sometimes. They'll look at the data and they'll kind of project, and then boom, we're going to do this because we're wasting time. But that can be a problem if you have two of you, neither one of you is listening. You both have ideas, and it can be very counterproductive. So listen before you respond with your idea. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, if you're a supportive communicator and you get to communicate with other people who are just like you, it's awesome, because you guys will have so much trust in one another. And you'll naturally collaborate, and it's just kumbaya, and you know, the team is the priority. It's, you know, it's the greater good. And, you know, what do you want to have for lunch? I don't know. What do you want to have for lunch? I don't know. What do you want? What do you want? After you, after you. No, after you. No, I insist. After you, after you. Team is priority. The conflict is you will not address tough issues. You kind of dance around the problem. If there's something that's uncomfortable to talk about but needs to be addressed, you will kind of deflect. You'll change the subject, you'll change the topic. And because you're both like that, no one will call the other out. So you'll just kind of dance around each other and not address real challenges. You're prone to delay and procrastination when it comes to decision making because you don't want to make the wrong decision. And you prefer the other person makes the decision, but they prefer you make the decision. So, you know, there's a lot of procrastination and delay, and you will avoid the elephant in the room at all costs for the sake of keeping the peace, which can be a problem if you're on a team and you're not productive and someone needs to say, hey, listen, we need to, you know, get going. You need to step up. You need to sit down. You need to, they won't have these conversations and address the elephant in the room. And if there's a problem, they won't address it and they won't express how they feel. They will just continue to take maybe mistreatment if that's happening because they want to keep the peace. They'll just deal with it. Some strategies are to actually identify and address any issues. Also, be bold and have those challenging conversations. And then finally, move forward by quickly looking for resolutions. Don't delay. Otherwise, you'll continue to dance around. Another communication style is the expressives. And if you're expressive and you have a friend that's expressive, I mean, you guys just express so much. And it's just great and fun. And the world is such a better place. And it's going to be awesome. Everything's going to be awesome. Why? Just because it is going to be awesome. Because awesome is awesomeness. And your strength together is that you're very creative and you generate a lot of ideas. I mean, idea generation is off the charts. I mean, you can come up with all kinds of ideas. You can solve problems innovatively. You're very enthusiastic. Nothing gets you down. We can do it. You have a can-do attitude. If you're working with someone that's expressive just like you, there's nothing you can't do. And you're really click. And it's great. But the problem is you have a challenge with focusing because you have so many ideas and you're always generating ideas and very innovative. You can't really focus on one, and that's a challenge. And if you have someone like that working with you, you both are like that. No one's really kind of pulling you in. You're just both kind of out there. And there's lack of follow through on some of the ideas or projects that you think we should, you know, address or maybe are assigned. Also a conflict could be that you're easily distracted and you can kind of get lost on rabbit trails. So like if there's a big project that you have committed to, because the project has so many parts, you can lose sight of all the parts except for the parts that you really love and want to do. So you can get really stuck on that one part of the project and do that piece really, 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 really well. But the other parts, because you're not really focused on all the others and there's no accountability. If you're working with someone that's just like you, you're going to do your part, they're going to do their part, and then the other parts, they'll figure it out, let the chips fall where they may, yay, throw up the confetti. No. And then that's a problem. Maybe not for the two of you, but if others are depending on you to do your part, that's a problem. Some strategies are to set clear deadlines, and this can be painful for an expressive person. This is the deadline. We need the spreadsheet by July 8th. I mean, for some reason, it's just painful to have a clear deadline. But that helps kind of keep the accountability there. It also helps if you clarify action items, you know, so we have ideas, we're going to generate ideas. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, we need to kind of bring that in and let's, put it down on paper. So expressive communicator working with another communicator would be great, but we need to talk deadlines. We need to clarify action items. And strategy also may be set up milestones, which is something that analyticals do very well. Not so much expressives, but it will benefit them to talk about milestones and also, or set up what's called micro plans. Because sometimes talking about a whole big plan is a lot. It's a lot to talk about. But if you can set up micro plans, kind of like, they're like milestones, but it's a plan on how we're going to get to this milestone and work on that. That will help if you're working with someone who's also expressive. So you both can get the work done together. And then finally, the analytical, working with another person who's analytical. Their strength, they're going to prioritize accuracy. They're going to make sure that it's done right. They focus on quality output. Perfection is not going out this door with their stamp and their signature if it's not perfect. And they're very thorough in their research and all of their analyses. And so if you're working with someone just like that, they will get along famously because they both get it. It needs to be checked, triple check, double check. Then you check it and then give it back to me so I can recheck it. And then I'll check yours. And then I'll check mine against yours. And then we'll double check it again. And then we'll cross check it. And then, all right, you get it. Conflict, very slow in decision making though, because of their thoroughness, which is a strength. So if you have two of them working together, the decision-making process can really be kind of like the last thing they're thinking about. They're thinking about the accuracy before it is, gets to the end. They're prone to overthink and get bogged down by the details. And the whole perfectionism aspect can bog down and stall the progress altogether, which is why sometimes other members on the team will actually will want to keep them out of the conversation because of these strengths that they have, which can actually slow down the process, which becomes a negative. It's a weakness now. But you can't skirt around them because you need them, because they're usually very, very good, very accurate, and you have to have them in the conversation. But it can be painful for, like, let's say an expressive or even a direct communicator who needs it done now. But you can't do without them. But if they're working together, they're great. But they really will be slower in the decision making. And then some strategies to help them, if you're working with someone just like you who's analytical, set some deadlines, set up some milestones, and then actually intentionally focus on making progress more than being perfect. If you do that, you'll be able to work well together and make some headway and not get bogged down. Okay, so those are the 4 styles of communication. If you're in a perfect world, working with people just like you, these are the 4. But we're going to make it practical. The analytical, the supportive, the expressive, and the direct communicator. Because in a perfect world, you may have someone just like you, but more often than not, you actually have people you're communicating with that do not communicate the same way as you. They don't see life through the same lens. They don't make decisions in the same way. So there's this interaction matrix, an interaction matrix. You ever saw the movie Matrix? It's kind of all over the place. This is connecting with that, and this drives that, but then don't forget about this because that has some bearing to that. It's connected. Well, similarly, we live in a world where one day you're communicating with an expressive, and then you go down the street, you're talking to a supportive, and then the next thing you know, you go home and you live with an analytical, and your kids, they're direct communicators. But then their teacher that they're trying to interact with is supportive. And now there's problems at school because of how they communicate with their supportive teacher, but because they're direct or they're expressive. And there's this whole matrix. So we have to learn how to communicate with other styles. And as I said before, you can identify how someone communicates just by listening to the words they use. And I pray and hope you're taking notes, because this is going to be, I said before, you're going to be able to use this information as early as not tomorrow, tonight, today, if you take notes and you apply it. All right, good. So, interaction matrix. First, what happens when a direct communicator and a supportive work together? Here is what you can expect. The direct communicator off the bat, and well, let me just preface, what I'm about to tell you and share with you, don't take it personal. This is just information to help you, no matter who you are and whatever side of this you're on. Just receive the information, apply it. If you don't agree, that's fine. You don't have to agree, but it is information. You can use it or not. All right, so now let me go with it. So the direct communicator is, they have this perception of a supportive communicator, that they already know that this individual is seen as slow and indecisive and a bit emotional when it comes to their communication. That's just how it is. The supportives tend to see the direct communicators as being abrupt and pushy and a little bit insensitive, actually just insensitive. And I'm not going to try to make it smooth. They just see you as insensitive, okay? So direct communicators, you have to know this, that you can come across this way, and that's how you are perceived. Now, we know supportive, you're not slow in decision-making, and you're not too emotional, because those are objective, which is why it's a perception. It's very objective. These are not facts, but this is a perception that a direct communicator, because of the way that they communicate in comparison to their approach to communication, you're slower and you're just indecisive, because they make decisions like this, but you want to make sure everybody's good. So they say, that's kind of indecisive. I would never do that. And you care about, how other people are impacted. Well, direct communicators, they're not as emotionally connected. So you have to know this. So know that off the bat. So if there's direct communicator in your life, supportive, this is what they perceive you as. And direct communicator, you need to know that you're seen as this. Okay, I see someone has their hand raised.
Yes, Apostle. I was looking at what you're saying in terms of the perceptions, and I see on the screen direct, the perception is slow and decisive and too emotional. Is that how the direct sees everybody else?
Yes, they see the supportive as. Yeah. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, because I was wondering if it was the other way around.
No, this is how it is.
Slow,
yes,
indecisive,
their
and too emotional.
perception.
Yeah.
Right. Their perception. Thank you for sharing that, because that makes me communicate it more clearly. Thank you. So the direct communicator perception of the supportive communicator is that person is slow in their decision making, indecisive in their decision making, and that they are too emotional. And the supportive's perception of you, if you're a direct communicator, they see you as being, you're abrupt and you're kind of pushy and you're insensitive. The supportive can see that, perceive that of you, because you guys aren't the same. Now, here's the conflict. This is what they, what kinds of things that they would maybe have said to each other or would be thinking. Direct communicator may say or could be thinking of you, a supportive person, when you're kind of talking around and around. They're thinking, could you just get to the point? They're thinking, could you just get to the point? And if they say that, it's a conflict. This causes a problem between the communication. And the supportive, they're thinking, oh my gosh, you don't care about people at all, the way you're just direct. You need to, be a little bit more harmonious in your communication, softer in your communication. You don't care about people. We know that these are just perceptions. So if they were to communicate this and say this to one another, it actually creates a conflict. Some strategies. direct communicator, if you identify someone that you're talking to or working with, that they are a supportive and harmonious person, don't be impatient. Just slow down. Slow down. Don't, just, make your decisions like this and not think about the fact that that kind of quick decision making rubs them the wrong way. Even though it maybe needs to happen, they don't understand how you can make that decision without considering other people. Show appreciation. A supportive, they really appreciate when you express appreciation for them, for their value they bring, for other people, and even ask for their input. So instead of just making decisions, boom, 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 consider, and I know you can't do this all the time, but consider when you're able to solicit the feedback of others, particularly a supportive communicator. And supportive, when you're talking to a direct communicator, remember that they are designed or built like that. They make decisions fast, and they also are very short. They don't add a lot of fluff in their communication and their words. So when you want to talk to them, don't torture them with talking around and around and around and around and around. They will try. I mean, they love Jesus, I'm sure. The ones who you maybe come in contact with love Jesus, but they're still who they are, the way they communicate. You take them around and around and around and around. They're going to sit there and their eyes are going to just like flicker like, oh my gosh, make it stop. But they're going to try. But you can help with the communication by getting to the point. Also, just stating what you need, just clear. What do you need? Just tell them straight. They can handle it. You don't have to try to be overly concerned that they're going to get hurt or emotional. Just tell them, look, I need A and B. They actually will like that because remember, they don't waste words. And so if you can tell them straight, I need A and B, they're going to give you A and B. But if you tell them, well, I kind of thought I might need A, but I'm not sure because, I could need C. But then again, see, all of that is fine. Just don't do it in front of them. You'll stress them out. You'll make them frustrated. Just go do all that. And then come when you've concluded you need A and B. You've already thought through the emotion piece of it. And then, kind of bring your emotions out of it because they're not as emotionally connected. As this is kind of a general statement, not all, but when it comes to decision making, they make decisions very objectively, very straightforward. So just be aware of that. All right. All right. Let me pause and see if there's any questions or comments. Elder Danny, that was a good comment that you made. Any other questions or comments? Pastor Donnell, we good? Yes, Pastor Donnell? All right, thumbs up, good. All right, we're gonna keep flowing. All right, so if you are, okay, again, we're dealing with the direct communicator. Direct communicator, if you're dealing with a supportive person, you need to know this. We did that. The expressive person now. Expressive person, hey, yeah, lights, camera, action. In this scenario, the direct person sees the expressive as someone that, I just want them to go ahead and take action. They're just not moving fast enough for me. Like, take action, do something, make some progress is what they're thinking. The expressive perceives the direct communicator as someone that they want them to have a discussion. So the direct communicator, they're like, I just want you to act. Like, don't have fun, like do something. The expressive is like, no, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. The conflict is the direct communicator, they are going to be thinking to themselves, you're all over the place with this idea. Can you just kind of like land? And expressive is like, yeah, but you're stifling the excitement and creativity. We want to talk about it more. We want to plan it more. We want to brainstorm it more. And they're like, yeah, but we need to do something. And so this is where a conflict can arise because a direct communicator, if they say something to that effect to an expressive of your ideas are all over the place. That's a conflict. The expressive saying to them, you are stifling my creativity. Some strategies. Direct communicator, allow a little brainstorming. If you're working with someone that's expressive, allow a little bit of it. You know, sit down. Okay, tell me your ideas. You can actually narrow it down. Tell them, okay, good. Let's talk. Tell me about your top 2 ideas. Yeah, but I have 7. Yeah. I'm gonna meet you halfway, but I only want to hear about 2. I got time for 2. So versus I don't want to hear it, say, let me hear your best 2. Let me hear your best 2. And show some enthusiasm, right? Like, you know, a little bit, smile, like, yay, oh yeah, yay. Tell me about the 2, yay. And it's okay, I'm listening. Because direct communicators, they don't always listen intently. A lot of times they already know what they want to happen or see. Expressives, though, when you do talk to a direct communicator, state your point. Don't take, like, similar to the supportive, don't take them around and around and around and around. Just get to the point and be careful that you don't go on a rabbit trails. Because again, remember, direct communicators, they speak very direct. They don't mince words. They don't waste words. And a lot of times, sadly, expressives can talk a lot and waste a lot of words. And the direct communicators are like, you know what, I could have gotten 5 letters done. I could have written 10 emails, you know, in this time. But, you know, and expressives also tell your direct communicator what your action items is. Like, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And then last but not least, expressive, just do it. Just do it. Okay, so that's how a direct communicator and expressive communicator can use strategies to communicate better. Just get it done. Expressives and direct communicators, allow a little bit of brainstorming, you know, and just help them, you know, tell them how many you want to hear. Okay, I hear your best 2. I hear your best. What's your top idea? I'll listen. Don't shut them down. Yes, Sister Joy Jones.
Yes, Apostle Angel. I love the fact that you said, I mean, I'm laughing here right now, is, can you land? I love that. No, I really love it too. I think I'll have to use that and speak to myself also. Can you please land?
You may.
Thanks.
You may, absolutely, you may. Okay, next, Dr. Millicent. Yes, blessings.
Yeah, possibly, I have a question. Unfortunately, my co-workers are not here. So, wait.
So you work with an expressive person, or a
No,
direct
the one that's all over the place.
Okay, so sure.
So sometimes I'll be there pressing my toe down into the carpet. I'm trying to purse my lips. I'm doing all kind of stuff, trying to say, Jesus. I said, land the plane. But at the same time, I can't tell her because she's easily offended.
Yeah.
So
and that's where the
what do you do? How do you tell this person, hey, you know, I don't know.
You want to tell,
because you want to help them to kind of shorten, give me a summary. I don't want a long pieces. But then sometimes I find like will be meetings, and I notice when like someone would say it to them and they get real offended.
Right.
So
so your question is, how do you deal with that? I see Apostle Donnell's hand up too.
How do you if you're one style, you know, how do you help a person to not see you that, hey, I'm not trying to rush you or so on, so it's just that we have 2 different styles, and how do you help them to see, like, you see each other and, you know?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, like you said, they're not here to learn these tips. I see Apostle Donnell's hand. I wonder if he has a comment to add too in regards to that.
Yeah, I'll add, because I have to deal with this all the time, like all the time. So I'll tell you 2 things that I do. One, I do what you do, Dr. Miller said, which is try whatever it takes to extract restraint from yourself. pressing your foot into the ground, just breathing exercises. So that's addressing you to the best you can, to try to extract whatever ounce of patience you can extract and squeeze from your psyche. That's one. But in terms of the other person, the only thing that I've tried that has helped me is, because I know the person's going to go on and on, instead of me telling the person get to the point, I try to extract from what the person's saying the point, and then try to repeat it. So be like, okay, so you're saying such and such, such and such, such and such. Because what I don't want them to do is keep going on and on and on if I think I've heard something. Because if I heard something and it's wrong, then they could correct it now, instead of me waiting for them to hit me with another 3, 4, 5 minutes that I don't have and still don't understand what you're saying. So I like to get to the point where if I could extract something and put it in a positive way, we're like, hey, okay, good. So you're saying such and such, such and such, such and such. And the person could be like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, good. But what does that mean? You just stop talking, which is great for me. And then you realize I get you, which is great for you. So it's a win-win, because I need you to stop and you need me to understand. So I have to listen so well that I have to be able to extract the point from this flood of words that I'm hearing right now. Now, if I'm wrong, they can also correct me and say, no, that's not what I'm saying. And you know what they do when they correct you? They get to the point. Because now that you've told them something that's wrong, they realize I need to get to the point because he's not understanding me. So let me correct this quickly so that he doesn't stand up and listen to me and then still not get me. So that's something that I have to do, because I have to do it all the time. Because I am surrounded by folks who go on and on and on. I'm like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel.
And your toes going to the carpet.
Take the wheel, Jesus. Take it, Jesus. Take it from my hand. Thank you.
Amen. Give some snaps to Apostle Donnell. Amen. And so again, along those lines, if you look at the strategies again here, under direct communicator, the last one is, okay, I'm listening. Listening is exactly what I would recommend doing. And then this is where emotional intelligence comes in. It's now rephrasing what they're saying. Saying, okay, so are you saying A, B, C, D? And they'll say, no. And they'll say, let me try again. And then they should get to it. But the listening should be where it goes into active listening, where you actually repeat back. Okay, so I heard you say ABC. No. I said XYZ because, okay, great. So you're saying XYZ, da. Yeah, and okay, so you're saying, and that will help drill down. Otherwise, you will continue to, expand. And we haven't really, you actually need to bring it in and land. Right? And you do that by, you actually can pause them and say, okay, so let me tell you what I heard. That's what I do to people too. I'll listen, I'll say, okay, let me tell you what I heard. Okay, then they will stop. And then I will say XYZ, and they will say, yeah. And they say, yeah. I say, okay, great, I got it. And I give them the answer. But if I didn't say it right, they'll do it again, and then I will come back. So the listening is what you can do or should do. Okay. The last thing I'll mention too, if you have someone expressive that's working for you or serving with you, and they have a lot of great ideas, and you're a direct communicator, one way to, as Apostle Donnell said, kind of help to bring it in and not have a lot of conversation and have them continue to expand is to ask them to write it down. Say, hey, okay, great. Can you write the idea for me? Show me write it in a plan or give it to me in a document, because that will encourage them to actually get it, think through it and put it down. And then you can actually read it versus you trying to understand it all and then make a decision there. Okay. Hope this was helpful. for you. Okay, let's continue on. One more. If you're a direct communicator, you're trying to communicate with an analytical person. The analytical person, as we would have talked about, they're one that they make accurate, they want to make decisions accurately, and so it may take a bit of time. Now, the direct communicator and the analyticals, they both like accuracy because the direct communicator is making decisions. So they need accurate information. They just need it fast. The analytical person, when they communicate, they're communicating, but they may have a lot more questions, and they're extracting more information. They need more, and they're not going to make their decision as quickly. Now, the two of them together, the direct communicator will be thinking, well, I'm going to need to make this decision now. So, whatever you need to do, give me the decision information I need, because they see them as someone they perceive that the analytical person is going to slow them down from making the decision now. The analytical person is seeing the direct communicator as someone that's, you're just trying to make your decision fast. And before I can tell you what, the information you need to make the decision, I need more information. So I can give you the right information that you need to make your decision, but it's not going to happen now. It's going to happen when I get the accurate information. So they perceive the direct communicator as someone that just makes decisions kind of without the information. And that drives the analyticals crazy because they don't really like to make gut decisions. The conflict is the direct communicator, they will say things like, you know what? Analyticals, they just get caught in analysis paralysis. And the analytical thinks, yeah, but you just make reckless decisions without doing your due diligence. Like you need, this can cause a conflict. These thoughts and these words in communication. So how do you work together better? Direct communicators, do what you can to provide the data that they're gonna need. Give them access to the information. Like if you don't have the time to extract the information, to dig it up, to go through the files, to dig in, give them access to the file, give them the stack, give them all of it. Like believe it or not, analyticals, they're happy. If you give them the information, even if it looks like a lot to you, they'd rather have more information than not enough. So if you just give it to them, they will get what they need out of it. So give them access, give them the thumb drive, give them the password, give them the folder, just give it to them, give them access. And keep in mind, they're going to need time though to calculate. So factor that in when you create your deadline, or when you try to say, look, I'm going to need it by, 7 a.m. on Friday, where you have to know that if you're given an analytical all this information, you don't want to give it to them on Thursday at end of day. Do what you can to give it to them Monday morning and tell them, hey, I'm gonna give you time, calculate through, etc., to get it accurate. I'm gonna need to make the decision by 7 a.m. on, so that they know. So give them the time and allow time. Analyticals, though, be aware that because of your strength of accuracy and really delivering a quality product, over analyzing can delay the process of getting the information to the direct communicator, and the communication will break down because they need it now, and now you're not giving it to them now because you're over analyzing. Offer recommendations, instead of problems, right? Offer, hey, I was looking and I found, this issue in the spreadsheet. Here's the solution that I recommend. Here's a way we can fix that. And then be mindful of also the team deadlines, the team timelines, that there's other people who may be waiting for you to do your part so they can go ahead and tell the client what the client needs to know, so they can go ahead and pay so that the work can start. But if you're stuck way back here because you just got to make sure it's perfect, you're actually causing a problem. So be aware of the timelines. Know like how much time is a reasonable amount of time to do the calculations, and whatever you have is gonna have to be good enough to, you know, and do what you can to get it as accurate as you can without delaying the team's progress. Okay, great. All right, so we're gonna now pause before I go into the supportive and the other two areas of the other two combinations of the matrix. Because you may be wondering or guessing, am I a direct communicator? Am I supportive? Am I analytical? Am I, you know, expressive? Well, let me just tell you right here. If your highest, okay, so you want to write this down so what's relevant to you. Look at your number. If your top two numbers are any of these, then this is relevant to you. So if your top number was an A, then your primary approach to communication is direct. Again, if your top number was an A, then it's direct. If your top number was a B, then it's expressive. Again, if your top number was a B, then you are primarily an expressive communicator. If your top number, the highest number you got, was a C, then you are the supportive communicator. Supportive communicator. If your top number was a D, if your top number was with the D, then you are more of an analytical communicator. Now, the second number is the same, applicable as well. So again, if your second highest number was A, then that means your second, your close second style of communication is direct. If it was B, then it's the second style for you is expressive. If the number was C, then it's supportive. And finally, if the second number was a D, second highest number for you was a D, then it's analytical. So you take those two together and it gives you some, you know, some more perspective or insight. Now, let me talk to you just a little bit. I'm just looking at let me talk to you just a little bit about each of those as it relates to you, okay? And then we'll jump back into the matrix here. So I'll define these for you. If by chance A was your highest, then you are called a dominant driver. That means you're direct, like what we've been talking about. You're direct, decisive, and confident in your communication. You also learn through visual structure and clear outcomes. Finally, your leadership strength is twofold. This is your strength. You drive action and results. You drive it. Like you will get behind whatever team and we're gonna drive it. We're gonna get these results. We're gonna make it happen. Areas for improvement. Patience. So that's someone that's talking a lot and they're not landing. And also you need to listen more, and which is what Apostle Danelle and I were just talking about as far as how to deal with someone that's, they just get emotional, they get offended. You gotta have some patience, listening to understand what they're saying, and then repeat it back potentially to them, okay? B, for those who are expressive, you are a highly influential connector. You're very inspiring, you're very enthusiastic, and you're very relational in your communication. The way you talk, it screams connection, relationship. It's fun, it inspires others. You could be going through the worst time of your life and no one will know because of the way you speak. You pull people up when you're down. You learn through discussion and collaboration. You like to discuss, you like to brainstorm, you like to collaborate. It's how you learn. Your leadership strengths are twofold. You can motivate and you can energize a team. That's very powerful. Because if you can motivate and energize a team, you can get work done. You can get goals accomplished. Here's some strength areas for you to work towards. Follow through and focus. Completing things to the end and staying focused. Even though you have a lot of great ideas, honing in on one or two and knocking it out and really focusing. Okay, C. If C was your highest number, you're a supportive stabilizer. You're the calm in the storm. You're very dependable. You're also empathetic in your communication. You will consider others when you're talking. You'll think about the team. You'll say things like, I hear what you're saying. I know it's challenging. I get it. I get you. It's going to be fine. I know what you mean. I've been there. You also learn through reading, reflection, and structure based on this assessment, because this assessment also looked at your learning styles. And then your leadership strength is that you're able to build trust and consistency. Build trust with people. That's huge, because if people trust you, you can really influence them. You can speak into their lives and change their destiny. And you're consistent. Like, others may go up and down all over the place, but people know that if I need an encouraging word, I can go to them. If I need a hug, no explanation. I can get one from the supporter. I can just get a hug. They'll come to me and say, you need a hug. Like, they just know. They're very consistent. They're very supportive. You know, they're not going to run you over. You know, they're going to think about you. You know, they're going to remember. You know, they have your back. And then area for growth for a supportive. Be more assertive in conflict. Be more assertive in conflict, because a lot of times you can get kind of, run over and not heard. And then finally, D, if you're analytical, or D, if you got D as your highest, you are an analytical strategist. You're very precise, thoughtful, and detail-oriented in your communication. You learn through doing and practical application based on this assessment. Also, your leadership strength is systems thinking and accuracy. Systems thinking and accuracy. You're very good at seeing the whole system through. You think about how this impacts something else and vice versa. Other people don't really, may not be as strong in that as you, but this is important because you will start a project, and if you even look at it and you're like, well, this is missing a piece. Whereas other people will just kind of run with it and figure out it's missing a piece like way down the road. You figure it out early and say, no, we can't. We need more information. No, I'm not going to waste my time. Like, you think through the whole system ahead of time, and you're very focused on accuracy. Area for growth for the analytical strategist is flexibility. Be a little bit more flexible, and also spontaneity, because of change. There's always change. There's external factors. There's personalities. There's, things don't work out, and now you have to be able to adjust. And also spontaneity. Sometimes the direct communicator will say, hey, I'm going to need that spreadsheet today. I know I said Thursday, but I'm going to need it now. And that's very hard for the analytical. But sometimes it has to be because maybe the president's asking for it or the apostle's asking for it. And we got to get it. Look, whatever you have, we got to get what you have. and we'll just have to say, this is the best draft we have. And that will make the analytical cringe because it's not finished. It's not finished. Say, yeah, but that's what we have. We have to work with what we have, and we'll just say it's a working document, and everybody's fine with it. But the analytical is like, no, it's not perfect, and we know that. But if you work on that, you will be less stressed. Spontaneity happens, and work on that, and flexibility. All right, I'm gonna pause right there for some comments or feedback. I want to hear from some of you if any of this resonated with you, some or all or none. Okay, so just raise your hands. We can hear from you as it relates to how you ranked and if you agree. Elder Danley.
I see me all over. I am, as I said, both expressive and supportive. I see my personality. I see my leadership style. I see everything is accurate.
So so supportive was your second.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow,
So
it's right on the
expressive,
money.
supportive. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Amen. Look how God made you. That's really, really good.
And
Well, all y'all now you know Elder Danley. He's the expressive guy and the supportive guy. So, you need a hug with no explanation. That's your guy.
Yeah.
If we can do this, that's your guy. It can happen. It's a can do. He can pull you up even when he's down. That's your guy. You're expressive.
I'm also happy to know what I need to work on. In terms of the to follow through and needing to focus, so that as they say, you can land the plane.
Land the plane.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Apostle.
You are welcome. Everybody show some emoji love in the chat for Elder Danley, some snaps. All right. All right, let's see. Take another volunteer. Anybody else want to share? Do you agree, disagree? Somewhat,
I have a
not so
question.
much. Yes. Yes.
Is it possible to be, so you have, say, at work you have a more dominant style than other places, like you can switch? Is it possible?
Yes.
Because I see myself, at work I'm at one way, but like home or so I have a different style.
Yes, you can. And at the beginning, I mentioned that we actually have all four, but we lean towards the top two as our go-to. So yes, you can adjust, because remember, this isn't like you in a box. There's so many more aspects and facets to you as an individual. This is just piece of some of it, but yes, you can definitely be more so one than the other at different environments. And listen to this, some of it can be because in that environment, the way you adapt to the environment is how you show up. So if you're in an environment where there's a lot of one of the other communication styles, you're able to be one way there because you need to be around that environment. And then when you go to another environment, you adapt another way. And that's actually a good thing, to be honest with you, because remember, we talked about, as I mentioned earlier, we're not trying to change you. We're trying to teach us how can we be flexible enough so that we connect with the people around us so that communication can be successful. So it's not a matter of us being rigid. And so, yeah, you can definitely do that. And, part of this workshop is to help us to be even better at that. Other comments before we move forward? Anybody else want to share? Sister Cheryl, God bless you.
Bless you too, Apostle. Good evening again. My dominant letter is C. And I am amazed because many, many years ago, we did at work what was called the DISC assessment. And that was the exact place I landed. But I am also analytical because D was my second highest. And I'm listening to you go through and I'm getting the sense, is it that the direct personality is like the anchor for every other personality, because I recognize you went through and you compared the direct with the analytical, the expressive, the supportive. And so I'm sitting here wondering if that is the anchor, for want of a better expression, because I find myself smack bang in C, and I know that I am very analytical because the slow pace, the decision making, the accuracy, and that kind of thing is where I find myself. I don't know if it's because of where I worked in money all my life, but I have to have it right.
Sure. Well, I have two good answers for you. So number one, Cheryl, I'm looking at your numbers. If I'm correct, you had C for 12 and you had the letter D for 11, correct?
That's correct, Apostle.
Okay, so the letter D is the analytical style. It's not the direct. D is for, on this assessment, the D doesn't stand for direct. It's a class. And the classification for the D is analytical. If you had an A, then that would mean you were direct. It's a classification. So you just had the letters swapped, if that makes sense. Because you just described yourself as being analytical, but assuming that you were a D, which is the A classification. Did that answer that first part of your question?
It did, because I am aware that the direct type is E, but
so you're good.
what I'm saying is, while you were going through the motions, I recognize that D was compared to every other type. And that is what made me think whether that D, which is direct, may very well be perceived as the anchor for the others. I am not sure.
Sure. And that's a great question. And I have an answer for you. And that answer is, I just didn't get to the rest. I stopped at D. So when I go, the next one is supportive, and I do a similar exercise for supportive, a similar exercise for expressive, a similar exercise for the analytical, but I paused in the middle just to provide that teaching moment there.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Now I understand. Thank you so much, Apostle.
No problem. You're welcome. Great observation. Great observation. All right. Other comments? Going once, going twice. Awesome. Oh, okay, Sister Keisha, God bless you. We're not hearing you.
Hi, grace and peace again, Apostle Angel. So, of course, everything that you have said about the D personality, communication type, everything right up my alley. The only thing is I was split right between the middle. My scores were exactly the same for A and B. So I'm not too sure how it happened that way for me. I tried to answer all the questions accurately. Like Apostle Donnell, there were like 2 questions there where the answer could have gone both ways. So I just lean towards the one that I would usually respond or know myself to communicate in that style, but it could have gone both ways. So it's just me trying to find out exactly how the split happened. And it's so exact.
Sure. Question, if you don't mind, your other 2, could you tell me what your numbers were? Just curious what you got for the C and the D. Just curious.
1 second. For the C and the D, they also were tied 3-3.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, yours looks like you're split down the middle. So my answer is that can happen, and that's actually shows that you're balanced. And also, when you take the assessment, I know Apostle Donnell took his assessment probably 2 times or 3 times so he could figure, which one he's more of. You could consider, if you didn't already, taking it again, and when you answer the questions, answer them just naturally. Sometimes if we take too long, like on a question, we kind of can overthink it, and then it kind of, you wouldn't have as a stark differentiation because we're thinking them through. But that's a thing. You may want to take it again if you want. You don't have to, because as it stands right now, it's saying that you're equal A and B, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. You're just balanced.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Not a problem. All right, good. So we're going to keep moving forward. Let me time check. All right, good. All right, so let's go through now the supportive, a little bit of the supportive and the analytical. So if you're analytical and you're dealing with someone that's supportive, or in supportive, someone's analytical, the supportive is already thinking that their mind, they just want everyone to feel supported. And the analytical is thinking, I just need all the facts and accurate data. So the supportive and the analytical, one is focused on people and knows the other one isn't. And the other one is focused on the data and they know the other one is not. The conflict is when the supportive says to the analytical that you're so cold and you only care about the data. And when they say that out loud or even get that in that's a part of their thinking, it comes across, then there's conflict. And then the analytical, if you say to the supportive, you're so emotional, you don't know how to be objective, you don't know how to separate your feelings from your work, or from your feelings from what's not work related or what's fact, like that causes a conflict. Supportive, if you're talking to an analytical and you want to connect, start by starting your phrase with the data suggests this. Because sometimes when you as supportive feels that, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't make this decision, and you're talking about because the people and they will get hurt, and what about this, and what about the rainforest, and what about, like, all this is wonderful stuff to consider. It's just that falls on the analytical and runs off like water on a duck's back. You actually need to use language that uses phrases like the data says this, or based on research articles, or the numbers look like this. Now, that may not be your thing, but you would just have to know who you're talking to. If you're trying to connect, you want to use language that connects with the person. Otherwise, you're just talking to yourself, because they're like, we're not connecting and we'll never connect because you're too emotional and not objective. You're just talking feelings. And the supportive is like, well, you're just rude. You don't think about people. You're just cold. And it's like, no, just change your phrasing so that they can hear it. They just want proof of behind your emotions. The analytical, now at the same time, you don't want to just come across as cold and unfeeling and only caring about the data, not people. And you can connect with someone who's supportive by leading with phrases such as, I understand this change may be difficult. Like that, when you said that, I mean, ding, 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 you're on the same page as supportive, because now you understand. And you understand it's going to be difficult. Like, yes, that's all we're trying to help you see, that it's going to impact the ozone. Like, it's going to be difficult. Thank you for seeing it. Like, that's all you have to say. I understand the change will be maybe difficult. And then go into the why. But here is the recommendation. Here's the reason for the recommendation. A lot of times, analyticals, you lead with, this is the recommendation. Here is why. The numbers say this, and all that's true. But if you're talking to a supportive, it's going to run right off like water on a duck's back, and they're probably going to get emotional as in, it's just going to really impact them in a negative way. So you can change all that and connect, because remember, we're just trying to be flexible and we're just trying to connect. Watch your phrasing. That's communicating. How do you get the person to hear you? Great. All right, now, moving quickly here. Expressive and analytical. I mean, these two can be no more opposite, to be honest with you. They are literally polar opposite. The expressive They can see the big picture. They speak big and they're excited about it. And you know, it's just huge. Like everything is just, everything is connected for them, but there's really no detail. It's very big and it's abstract. And the analytical, they're like, all right, well, like, what's this based on? Like, you have no details, you have no numbers. Like, tell me a little bit more. Yeah, I just see this big blue thing. Okay, what are you seeing? Is it a car? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? Like, I need you to be clear. Give me some details. The conflict is the two, when they talk, the expressive may say things to the analytical along the lines of, you're too rigid. Oh my gosh, like, can you just like chill out? And the analytical is like, well, you're not realistic. You have no facts. You're just a dreamer. You're just pie in the sky. Who does that? And these are very hurtful things, but this is really what they mean. They're basically saying, I don't get you. We're not connecting. So the expressive, how do you communicate with an analytical? Provide details, information, clarification. Analytical, how do you connect with the supportive? Try to jump on their side of the table to see the possibilities of the blue thing in the sky before you see it as a problem. A lot of times we lead with, as an analytical, you can lead like this. The expressive will say, yeah, it's a big blue thing in the sky. And then you'll shut it down like, we're not doing that. Nope, we're not doing it. I mean, boom, poof, done. Dream bust. You put a pin in it and bust the blue thing and it's over. Instead, come around inside the table. Granted that, you know, they're going to give some details. Now you actually come along and say, okay, let's see. I mean, it's, you already feel in your head and know we're not doing the blue thing, but let them explain the blue thing and try to see where they're coming from with the blue thing. And then think about, okay, well, maybe it will work before you shut it down. But when they bring details or they don't have details, then we can't do the blue thing anyway. So it's more, you know, you just ask them for more details so we can understand why you want to do the blue thing and why it's important. All right. So is there a formula though? Is there a formula for all this? Is there a formula? The answer is, why, yes, there is a formula. Because it can be complicated. Because if you didn't realize, we just went through all of the styles. We went through the direct and the expressive. We went through the supportive, and we went through the analytical. And we put a bunch of them together for the matrix. There has to be a formula, and there is one. This is the formula. And it's called an adaptation formula. Remember, we said we're just trying to be flexible. How can we not change ourselves, but because of the environment that we're in and because of the people that are in that environment, because you're not talking to people that are like you all the time. So you're with all these people as a matrix. You have to apply a formula. I plus A plus C plus C. I plus A plus C plus C. This is an adaptation formula. We're teaching you how to adapt, right? It's like if you have, because we have cell phones, we all have cell phones. Sometimes, well, I'll give a great example. When we went to St. Lucia, they have these plugs in the wall that are round. They're the English system of outlets. And none of our regular US outlet plugs and devices could fit. But in order for us to be able to connect, we had to have an adapter in the center. And that adapter allowed the plug to go in so we could connect to the source and actually get work done literally on our devices. In the same way, an adaptation formula is an adapter that allows you, the analytical, to connect with the supportive connect with the expressive, connect with the direct, connect with the analytical, connect with the supportive, allow the analytical to connect with who they need to, the supportive connect with the direct. I mean, it's an adapter. And so it's a formula. Adaptation formula is what I call it. And here's what it is. I hope you're taking notes. Adaptation formula. Number 1, I, identify. Number 2, A, adjust. Number 3, C, communicate. And finally, C, confirm. IACC. IACC is the adaptation formula. How does this work? It's a series of prompts that you give yourself when you're going to connect with somebody or you want to connect with someone. Right off the bat, number 1, what is their style? You can listen to them and figure out what their style is. Apostle Danelle and I, we go to a lot of meetings and meet with people, and there's networking and all that. And a lot of times I'm there and the first thing I do is I'm listening to the person I'm talking to find out, okay, is this an analytical person? Is this an expressive person? Is it a direct person? Are they supportive? Like, I'm trying to figure out their style because I know I'm applying the adaptation formula. So you figure out their style. Once you figure that out, now you find out, okay, how do I adjust? What do they need from me? Not like product, but what do they need from me? What language allows us to actually talk? Because once you know if someone's analytical or supportive or direct or expressive, then based on what I've shared, you should have some sense of the language that works well with them so that you can give them what they need so they can hear you. So it doesn't just run off of them. Your words don't run off of them and off of them like the water on a duck's back. Next, communicate. Communicate. Actually, now talk. Communicate. Mimic their preferred communication style. Notice I said mimic their preferred communication style. Mimic doesn't mean you become it and change. You mimic it in that moment. You're talking to an expressive person and using words like big and the big blue thing in the sky. I mean, I'm not saying you have to use a big blue thing in the sky, but I'm saying if they're excited and so on, then you smile as best as you can, or you say, okay, great, yeah, that's wonderful. Like they're going to use phrases that are positive. So mimic their communication so that you're on the same page. If they're analytical, then again, you have to know this person is someone that is very accurate. They're very calculated. They like data and information. So when you talk to them, share, talk shop, talk facts, because if you say, yeah, I just feel like we need to have, they said, that's wonderful. You can say that. And they're going to ask you, okay, how do you know that that's true? You should, share with them, what, I was reading this article, I did some research, or just tell them, what, I haven't quite done the research yet, because that's what they would do. But, I know when I do that, I'll learn more. So you have to mimic. Same with a direct communicator. Don't take them around and around and around and around and around. Just get to it because you'll lose them. And then finally, confirm. Ask questions to ensure that you understand what they're talking about. And we actually use it as an example a little while ago. If you're dealing with people that you seem to not be connecting, it's just, they're so emotional, they're easily offended, they seem to only care about people, or they only care about data. I mean, these are perceptions, but it just seems that they don't really care about, one or the other. Ask clarifying questions. So when they're talking, you say, okay, so are you saying this or that? And they'll say yes or no, and they'll continue. That's actually a good way to have a conversation with people. It's like volleyball. They'll talk and then you'll talk And then after you finish your sentence, you say, and what about you? And then they'll talk, and then you'll say, oh, okay. So what you're saying is, and they'll say, no, I'm saying this. And you say, oh, okay. So you're saying da, 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 da. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Great, wonderful. Because in my world, it looks like this. How about yours? Like it's just a back and a forth and a back and confirming questions and having that communication. So apply an adapter. Because remember, they're not like you, you're not like them, nor should you become them because you weren't born like them. But there are times when you have to have an adapter. Otherwise, you'll just always have issues connecting with people. And you'll think something's wrong with me when there's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with them. You just need an adapter. All right, I want to pause right there and see if there's any questions or comments, looking at the time here. All right, good. Yes, pausing for questions or comment. Yes, Dr. Millicent.
Just looking at the adaptation formula, it's looked like you're trying to walk in the next person's shoes. Putting
You
yourself
got
in
it.
their place.
That's right. That's exactly right. They say there's a platinum rule. The platinum rule says treat people the way they want to be treated.
Right.
Right? We know this, we know the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And then the platinum rule is treat people the way they want to be treated.
Right.
Right. And so that's applicable here. It's knowing it's coming around on the other side of the table. You're coming up, sitting next to them. Let me see it from your vantage point. Let me look through your lens. That increases connection. Amen. Any other comments before I guess we're going to wrap up here because we're already at 8 o'clock. Yes, Elisa.
Hi, pleasant good night, everyone. Grace and peace to you all, apostles, and everyone joined. I just have a question. There was a point in time I remembered when Dr. J would have done a presentation, a seminar on communication, and I would have tried to apply what I would have learned at the time, and it did work. But what I noticed was it took me a lot of effort to step outside of the way I usually communicate. And when I would communicate in their styles, if there were days when I was like under a lot of pressure or it was just a hard day, I found myself reverting to the old way. And sometimes it seemed a bit confusing to them because, I'd have become more expressive to some and they would have, engaged me in that manner. But then, say on a rough day, I would go back to being the analytical and only wanting the facts and the information. And so I was just wondering, is it that it takes a while to be able to have a consistency in adapting, or should I be okay with there will be some days that I just may not be able to perform in the capacity needed?
Thank you so much for that question. Such a good question. I've been in that boat too. There's different environments that people will read you as one way because you are, you're doing the deal for like 80% of the time. And then all of a sudden there's that 20%, you're just not feeling it today. And they're just going to have to recognize that you're not, and it looks different. I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. I'm here to tell you that the reason that happens is because you're human. It's because you're just adapting. And there are times when you're not going to be able, you're not going to feel it. We don't always have 100% up days and moments. So there are times, and you're an analytical person. So there are times when perhaps your personality too, I'm guessing, perhaps you're maybe a bit more introverted. There are times when you actually need, because of your personality, to come off of everything that's not like just in neutral mode. You're just not feeling it. And so you'll need to kind of, what's the word? Introverts, re-energize re-energizing is you just reverting to just, this is me and this is how I need to be today because this is what's normal.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you very much. I feel a little bit
Yeah, there's nothing
better.
wrong with you.
Thank you.
Listen, you're welcome. There's nothing wrong with you. Listen, there are environments that we have to, we all as humans, we go in that require us to, you know, be more, be extra. You know, if you're not a talkative person, all of a sudden you're in an environment where you have to be talkative, like you're in charge, you're speaking, there are people around you. You have to be the life of the party. You have to be the one that's giving out. And you can only do that for so long till you need to actually retreat. And if you don't get to retreat to where you can do it in private, it just happened where you are. It's like, look, I got nothing. I got nothing for you. And it just is how it is. And so usually you know, we get to go home or something and do that. But if you have to go to work the next day and you're still feeling down, you know, you just be you be yourself. So don't be so hard on yourself. The adapting is literally that. There comes a point when you take the adapter off and you just, you know, if the outlet's not the right size, it's just not the right size. We're not using it today. I just don't, you know, we're not adapting. That's it. And it's okay. Apostle
Thank
Donnell.
you.
You're welcome. Apostle Donnell, I see your.
Yes. So, Alyssa, you said something really interesting there because everybody who gets to any position in leadership has to make a lot of adjustments and it requires significant energy. But you can train yourself. So it's similar to if you haven't worked out in a long time and then you try to go outside and run 5 miles, you're going to suffer. And then you're going to suffer the next time you try it, and you're going to suffer the next time you try it. But the more you practice it, you begin to develop these skills that allow you to adjust. And Dr. Millicent talked about that, where could you be a different person in different situations? You actually can. But you have to be able to consciously be aware that I am doing this proactively. I'm not losing myself. I'm not changing into some strange person that I'm not, but I am proactively making adjustments because of the situation. And I always like to use myself as an example. I am an introvert. Like, I am an introvert, similar to my dad. I like to be with myself. I like to be quiet. I don't like to be talking all the time. I just love to just be by myself. And because I have to adjust, it has taken significant energy. I'll put significant energy, but over time, I've been able to do more and more and more of it. But as Apostle Angel says, you do run out of steam. And you get to the point where, like, this is not natural for me. I'm out. Or I'm gonna sit down by the table, sit down on the table by myself. And everybody's like, hey, you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. I just don't feel like working in a room right now. I'm not working in the room. I'm just gonna sit in a corner and eat hors d'oeuvres. And that's how it is. So you have to know what's your social battery like, specific to whatever you have to charge up for that particular engagement at work or whatever situation you're in, because you're going to run out of battery. So the stuff that goes natural, you don't need any battery for that. You can do that all day. But the stuff that you have to charge up, you got to know you're running on a certain amount of battery, and you got to know how much battery do I have for this right now. I'm not dealing with that person right now because my battery really low, and I have that too. There's people at work I will walk straight past because I'm like, if we start talking right now, I got some things in my mind that I'm not going to have the strength to not tell you in a certain way. So I'm not dealing with you right now until I charge up a battery, and then I could come and tell you instead of extra stuff that I would never tell you under normal circumstances. Thank you. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apostle Donnell, because I do find myself from time to time questioning. Consistency is big for me, and I'm always like, I need to be consistent in how I show up. So I find myself questioning if I'm doing the best that I can. So I really do appreciate that I can say not today, not right now, that it's okay, because I will be saying that going forward. So thank you.
Amen. Very good. Good question. Thank you so much for asking it. Yeah, give yourself time. You don't need the adapter all the time. And you know, it's okay. Like, listen, here's something just before as we're wrapping up. I know we've talked a lot about adapting, putting on the adapter and listening to other people and trying to see what they need so that you can, help them understand and connect with you. But there are times when you just, it's better to tell them it's not a good time. Right? And you can say that in such a way of, hey, you got 5 minutes. If you know that it's not a good time for you, either because of your relationship with them and what it's going to require of you to kind of adjust, or it's just you just don't have it in you to today's not the day for that. You can actually tell them, actually, I'm free on, and then you give them another time. Say, I'm free tomorrow at 12. Can it wait till then? Because this gives you the time you need to, process whatever you need to process, or prepare yourself depending on the person, because you may have a history with them. This may be a labor intensive conversation, as we would call it. You just know that it's not the moment for you. You can offer alternative time and say, is it possible for us to get together tomorrow, or, Friday at 8? I'm free then, to give yourself time to get ready for that individual or that type of meeting, etc., if you need it. Because sometimes you get called like boom, like this, and if you don't have the option, then you have to have the meeting. But if you know that it's not the best time for you, then offer another time. And I've done that before. So, amen. All right. Well, we are going to pull it in right there. I want to say thank you all so much for coming to this Lead with Communication Part 2 workshop. I hope the information that was shared was beneficial and that you gleaned something you can apply as early as tonight, something that you can use, right? We do have a lot more information to cover, but we truncated it so that we could get you going with something you can use. And we'll see if there will be another session in the future before the year is out, a third portion. We would then go through your learning styles. We'll also then go through what motivates you and how to also motivate and influence other people on your team. Amen. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Apostle Donnell to bring last remarks and comments and prayer. God bless you, Apostle Donnell.
All right. Who enjoyed tonight's workshop? Give God some glory, give some snaps, leave some comments, use some electronic emotions, all the different fancy ones that people have discovered that I still don't know where they find them, but go for it. God is good. Let me see a brown skin hand clap. Do what you got to do out there. Thank you, Apostle Angel. This is good information. All of us who are out here, we know there's so much we have to learn so that we could adjust what's natural to us so that we can connect with what's natural to others. So, great workshop. Thank you for a job well done. One thing about Apostle Angel is she will make time for the ministry. That's one thing. It doesn't matter what's going on, whatever we have going on. She's like, we got to do what we got to do for Jesus. The Lord's work has to be done. So I've got to give Apostle Angel her props. You got to give her flowers. She will do what needs to be done for the people. So we give God glory for that. And we know the Lord will reward her greatly for eternity. So yes, we will let you know when we'll do part 3. Obviously, when you're on a roll like this, no sense we switching it up to a random topic. So when we get a spot in one of these upcoming months to get to part 3, we will let you know. You will see the flyer and we'll jump into the next installment of this particular series. So just a couple quick announcements. We got church on Sunday, 3 p.m. Be there or be square. Apostle Angel will be preaching then also about the cave and the stone. Next Wednesday, the cycle begins again. It'll be the first Wednesday, so it's going to be coffee shop conversations. We're going to be talking about a new Mindscape leadership superpowers. To God be the glory. And we're just thankful for all of you. We don't take anybody for granted. We see you on YouTube, Vanessa Copeland, Marissa Edwards Jackson. We see you, Pamela Barmon, Valerie Pascal. We see you, Vex4674 and Trini Shelley 5. Haven't you figured out who that is? What? Go for it. We love all of y'all, and we're looking forward to the next time we get to engage with you. Shout out to the folks in Trinidad. You know, the book launch for The Cave and the Stone is merely weeks away. So it is July the 11th. July the 11th, 4 p.m. All right, so don't miss that book launch. I will definitely say that is an excellent book. The first time I heard Apostle Angel preach this message, I was like, you hit the jackpot. That is a message. You ever hear somebody preaching and be like, you preached it. That is the message. So I knew when it was time to get a book done, I was like, this book is a book. And I got a chance to read it, and I got a chance to provide my thoughts. She even wanted me to do a forward. I was like, me, of all the people. So I got a chance to put a little something in there. So I just sprinkle a little something on the front. A little something to sprinkle it. All right. God bless all of you. We're going to ask Auntie Verna, who's in the building, to close us out in prayer. Auntie Verna, the ultimate workshop person. You ask anybody to do a workshop? Listen, you out at a good time. Blessings to you, Auntie Verna.
Well, thank you for that, but I'm not sure that's a description of me, but I'll take it. But this was a very informative workshop on communication, very eye-opener, and one of my questions was whether there's a you can combine or any of the two or three, and as you answered that it was basically dependent on the situation. So very good, very good. Must give you that. Okay, let's pray and let's go. Dear Heavenly Father, we honor you tonight because you are so faithful and you're so good to us. You're a good, good Father. And we thank you for this session that we have listened to and understood, and the explanation so clear. We thank you for these times that we are learning, the things that we should know and how to interact with people. So tonight we appreciate all who came, and we ask that as we leave, that we continue to be in your presence, and that you continue to give us the wisdom that we need in everyday reaction and interaction with others, wherever we may be. So as we go tonight, we ask that you be with us, Lord, in our sleep, that we'll have good night's sleep. And thank you for all that you are doing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen and amen. Well, God bless you all. We will see you the next time we see you. Early morning meditations tomorrow morning for the early birds who want to catch the worms. And everybody else, we'll see you Sunday and all the other days. All right?
All right.
So God bless you. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you,
See you
Apostle.
soon.
Evening.
Awesome.
God
That
bless
was
you
good.
all.
Thank you.
Good night,
Glory.
everyone. Bless you.
Blessings
God bless
to
you.
you. Bye, Sister Keisha. Bye,
Bye.
Dr.
Great.
Millicent.
Bye,
Bye, Elder
Apostles.
Stanley.
Thanks very
Bye,
much.
Elder Liz. God bless you. Bye,
Woohoo.
Elisa.
All right.
So good to see you.
See you
Bye,
in
Bye,
Trisha.
Trinidad soon.
everybody.
Sister
See you